All right, I think I got everything cleared up now. I got it 8:33. Everybody has chimed in. As we had said now, I think that they are, let's go down the row. I don't see that we have any guests or anything. Make sure everybody's clicking on and rolling. See, yeah, let's do it this way. All right, there we go. All right, so what's happening? I got Mr. Marcus Caldwell coming from Lawrence. I got Mr. Judah Amin Ra coming out of Spartanburg, South Carolina. I got Mr. Who was that? Corey Turner out there. I got Mr. Trevor Watts. I got Savion McMorris. I got Shantae out there. I got Mark and I got Sharon Avant. I got John Watts. I got Yashika McMorris as well. So we're rocking and rolling. And what I want to do then, since we don't have any guests, we can keep it real simple. This here. So because beforehand we were having some questions, and then the big question was, okay, hey, where are we now? Okay, where am I? No matter who you are, no matter what phase of life you are in, you think that you are, too late in life, or maybe it's too early in life, or maybe you failed, too many times, or whatever it could be, whatever these self-limiting thoughts are, right? What we want to do is we want to show you, let's stop and let's say, okay, hey, what are we doing? What is this that we're looking at? This right here is an understanding of income shifting, right? This is just to say, okay, hey, I want to go to this particular goal. I want to get to this particular purpose, whatever this is. I want to own a business. I want to run a store. I want to operate a restaurant. I want to do something from home. I want to just have an extra $500 a month coming in. Maybe I just need a little extra credit. Okay. So whatever this is, you have to determine whatever this is that you are looking for. Okay. When you do that, then you can get yourself in line for the transformation. But see, the biggest opportunities that we have out there, but we are sometimes we miss them because of previous training, because of previous thoughts, because of what they taught us in high school, because of what they taught us in college, right? So what these are every day, we are changing our ways of thinking, okay? Because I bump into a lot of people on a daily basis that would love to do various things. They say, Mike, I need $20,000 to do this, this, and this. Mike, I need $10,000 to get this particular job opportunity. Mike, I need this particular thing to get this. But if you just boil it down and just slow down and say, okay, hey, let me get my personal credit, PC. Let me get my business credit together, BC. Let me get this leveraging credit together, okay? And then as you're doing that, you're working on your pillars, which are cash flow managing. If you're the one that takes notes, I hope so. So this cash flow management, and that's the first area, okay? And then you got business income and then investment income, okay? So what you want to do is just slow down and want to understand, because when I talk to individuals and they don't have, the various components or resources and networks, that means there's some opportunity for financial education, okay? Because when I got started again with the real estate, I had lost a lot of resources, okay? Let's just leave it like that. And so I had to start with zero. I had to start with really, really, really bad credit. Had $0 that I could start with because I was almost $4 million in the hole. Okay, because of the losses that we have gone through 2008, 2009. And so with that process, we had to understand, okay, hey, how do I convert cash flow into, well, how do I convert income into cash flow? See, at first I didn't understand that there was a difference. And that's what you got to do when you're out there. and you are, let's say, working, no matter what it is that you're doing, they have you working at that job, not because they like you. They have you working at that job because you are a source of cash flow for that business owner. Okay. And so when that is an occurrence, you have to, and then how do I position various different cash flow centers for myself? Okay. So what we're looking at, we have been brainwashed to thinking that the only way to make it is to say, okay, hey, let me win this lottery, or what, have a wicked jump shot or sling, right? So we've been looking for these large amounts, and if we don't get these large amounts to do this grandiose thing, then we never start. And so we never start the various things that we should do, which is just financial education. Okay. So when we say, hey, let's just start, and I tell a lot of people that, hey, this is a $9.95 just for the tools. The education is priceless, right? And so a lot of times people are so far behind from check to check that is difficult. I understand, because when I was working at a job, they were paying me to say $3,000 a month, but I had different bills, I had children, and these different things, and it was up to 4,500. So if I was only getting 3,000 and my real bills that was going out and about was 4,500, there's no, why would I put that into a budget? Because I can't make it. There's nothing I can do. So when you tell me about something that can help me and it costs me anything, I don't know how I can do it, right? So that's why this is so important. That's why I say it's not pills, potions, lotions, wrap, teas. What that means is that you don't have to come over here and sell something. What you only have to do is change something, and that's just your habits. That's how you think, how you move, right? You know how we say when we were out there, when you want different, you move different, right? And so that's what we have to do now. We have to, just like you guys plug in on Thursdays, but sometimes just to be, since we have, um, no guests, sometimes you have to arrange yourself so that it's not like pulling teeth when it comes time for the Thursday night meeting. Okay. So if you have something going on Thursday night at 8:30, why would you put something else in your calendar at Thursday night at 8:30? Right? Because this is like when I go into my job, and your job says, hey, when you clock in 15 minutes early on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, because we're going to have what? A meeting, a store meeting. So we don't miss those, right? And so this is something that is applied for you so that you can get yourself out of that particular position, right? So there's individuals that say, hey, Mike, I can only make so much money because I'm getting a disability or social security. Okay. So that's great. What we got to do, though, we got to understand how to make an LLC. So when you have an LLC, the LLC can make as much money as it wants to make. Okay. And that still can be something that you can use as a tool because your business can make money. See, we have limiting thoughts because we don't really know what we don't know, and we don't know it. Okay. So that's why it's so difficult, because when we reach out to people, you're thinking that I'm saying, hey, reach out to people so you can sell them something. No, no, not at all. You're just saying that I'm excited about whatever this is. And if you never talk to another person, you don't have to talk to anybody to make it in this business. See, that's what's different. But if you're going into another level of business, like if you want to go into restaurant, or you want to be a anything that requires people to follow you or to buy from you, right? Then you have to understand how to lead. Okay. And so with that, you have the financial education, you have the leadership education, and then you have practical tactics that you can apply at any time, at anywhere that you need to do that. So if you're doing A, B, C, 26 letters of the alphabet. No matter which business that you choose, nonprofit, for profit, it doesn't matter. You can do it. So the first thing that I want to do is, because they didn't teach us in school how to be leaders. See, and that's where the rubber meets the road. So when it comes time to actually activating that, that's what we're learning. We're activating it on remembrance. And see, that never works. So when you're listening to something, that's why people are out there and they charge $2,500, $5,000, $10,000 for coaching. Because when you pay that amount of money, people listen. Because, hey, I don't put this amount of money on the line, so now I'm listening. But for something that's $39.95, it's easy to say it didn't work for me and let it go, because I have not much invested, right? And so what we got to do is we got to say, okay, hey, let me slow down, see where I am. Am I going back and looking at recordings? Do I know? And if I don't know where I am and where my next steps are, have I scheduled an orientation so that I can be shown? Right? So you got to take the bull by the horns, because at your job, they're going to work you 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. What are you going to do for yourself? Okay. And see, that's where the as I keep saying, the rubber meets the road, because we have a lot of, as a individual people, we have a lot of things, ideas, because we've been gifted with a lot of what I want to say, talents. Okay. And so now these talents have been lost. They've been buried into the graveyards. They're in the houses, or what they say, I can't think of the right word, but houses for the mentally incompetent, right? Because it's driven them crazy not to be able to express their purpose. And so that's what's going on with most of us. We're sitting down, living a life of quiet desperation, because we can't do and express the real you, right? So that's why we do this every Thursday. And these things that we design is for your good. It's for you to say, okay, hey, maybe I wasn't the high school superstar, or maybe I was a high school superstar, it didn't work out, right? Or maybe that I wasn't the one that learned this way, so college wasn't for me. Or maybe the self-employment way wasn't for me because I couldn't get the right financing and or backing behind me. See, this is your opportunity. If you listen to this on a recording, if you listen to this right now, and if you haven't started being in the habit of recording, right? It's okay to say, okay, great, Mike, I was on and I listened. But when I say, okay, hey, what did you learn? See, that's what we got to get. This is why we do what we do. There's no income for me for doing these on Thursdays, Wednesdays, Mondays. I don't do them to bother you, to say, okay, hey, there's another one. I do it because my 30 years of doing business, I've had to pay 5,000, 10,000, even $100,000 to get mentorship, to learn these different things. And I said, well, man, why why is it like that? And I see now why it's like that, because it forces people to pay attention. It puts skin in the game. But what I want to do is I want to reinvest, because people don't have that access. People don't have those resources. So let me just make it something that's very simple and give them all the information that they could possibly need for whatever area that they're desiring to get into. So if you desire it, you can say, hey, let me get this course on business funding. Let me get this course on budgeting. See, it's all back there. We have courses on Facebook advertising. We have courses on anything that you can desire and upon to get your purpose out there. And it's all included in your membership. See, you just have to take the time and say, okay, hey, what's step one? What's step two? where am I on this level? Okay. So now, as you're looking out there, you should be able to absorb, just like my man texted me the other day, Mr. Amin Ra. He said, "Hey, I'm grateful for inviting me out to the invest, learn, teach strategy." See, I understood that he grasped that understanding and he was able to repeat it back to me. See, we have this understanding that I know something. And if you think about it like the Bible, right? The Bible says when Adam knew Eve, that's a what? That's a relationship that produces fruit, right? It produced a seed, right? So when you know something, you should be producing the fruit of that, or you should be able to produce seed into someone else so that they can produce fruit. And that becomes you as a leader. Okay. So that way you can say, hey, okay, I want to become to where I want to generate an extra $20,000 a year. Okay. What do you need to do? What type of products are you selling? Okay. What type of assets are you trying to develop? And then what type of time frame are you running on developing those assets? Okay. See, when you have this in a background, you have your cash flow manager in place. So then you know, okay, hey, let me record this here. Let me record this here, right? So just think about it like this. If you was watching a great football game and the camera was on the football team and everything, and it was a foul that happened, right? Or penalty rather, right? So when that particular penalty happened, they said, hey, we want a review. And at the same time, they said, okay, let's do the review. But the camera guy was not focused on the play. So there is no review, right? So that's what's got to happen with us. We got to make sure that our eyes stay on the play. In that way, we can consistently review. And how is that? Because we write what we understand. See, what I'm saying may not all be something that is caught at the same time, but if you take notes, then you're able to transcribe what I'm saying according to how you are perceiving it. See, then you can understand and learn on your level. Then you can say, okay, when you said this is what I got from that. So now let me repeat that back to you. And was that what you meant, Mike? See, when you get to a point to say, hey, I want to lose 10, 15 pounds, and you get really serious about it, then you crank up. Or you say, hey, I want to gain about 10, 15 pounds in muscle. Then you get serious and you crank up. See, when you get serious about this particular current lifestyle and your future lifestyle, you say, I don't have any more excuses, right? Mike's giving me these access points, then all I got to do is learn. Okay, me and Mr. McMorris Savion, we were having a conversation about me and my 18-year-old self, saying that, hey, I was definitely afraid of speaking in public, right? And so I had to change because that wasn't conducive to a good future. And see, if you can pick up on that, and you can pick up on, let me get where I am, and then what am I missing to get to where I'm going? What do I have to get to where I'm going? How do I get those things that I'm missing? What are the steps that I need to do to take to there? See, when there are what we call high performance, there is a step for everything that they do. They have a way of doing things. See, that's why people write those books, because you understand that, hey, it's not about the strategy, it's about how I think, because procrastination is the number one nation in the world. And see, that stops a lot of things, excuses, reasons. I learned this way. I'm just like this. Whatever those particular things that we say that stops us from saying, hey, let me log in. Let me find out where this is. Let me see where I am. And let me ask a question if I don't understand after I have logged in. Okay. And see, now you can gather those particular things. And I didn't really want to head in that area, but I really wanted to pull on the talents that you have, right? Because if we could come together on this basis and then we get a habitual showing up on Thursday, and then when we get through on Thursday, the next 6 days, we say, okay, hey, my first thing was cash flow management. Okay, so therefore, I just simply need to know, okay, if I have this amount of money coming in, how much of my bills are going out, right? See, I have to then schedule it some kind of way. So if I have get paid twice a month, right? So then I have to separate that into a way that all of my money is there when it comes time for the bill to be paid, right? But if I'm not able to do that because I have more month than I have money, now you need to do what? You need to get more cash flow. Okay. And why is it that we can't get cash flow? Okay. And let me explain that. Problem number one is inflation. Okay. So remember, it's never about you can do those big things. But let's start. Don't despise the day of small beginnings. And I think that's the biggest thing because I'm a person that's going to say, hey, if you tell me about your particular goal, about that, your particular heart, your particular value, I'm going to try to get behind it and push it. Okay. And see, then when I do that, I have the group that came from Atlanta. I think a lot of you guys were here when those people came in from that particular area. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with them or anything like that, but they came in with the wrong mindset. Okay, so they came in, and then Real University got behind everything that they desired to do, and then they deserted. Okay, so that's what happens when we don't work as a unit. Right. So what we want to do now is I want to pull back and say, okay, hey, that's why I've been texting you guys because you guys are showing up. You guys are the leaders are out there that we're wanting to define. Okay. Just like you have what you call it, a piece of quartz, right? It's a big piece of marble, right? But there is a design inside of that marble, and then you just have to chisel it out. And see, that's what somebody took the time with me, and they said, hey, Mike, if you do this, if you do this, and if you say it like this, if you also say this when they say that, then this will happen. And see, that's what happened with me. And then I was able to retire my first time at 26. And then my second time I retired at 38. And see, I had to jump back in there after '08 and '09, and I'm now going to retire again. Okay. So when you get involved and you understand how to create assets, not just out there saying, hey, let me spend a whole bunch of money on this and hope it works. Let me spend a whole bunch of money over here and hope it works. Right. And then when that doesn't happen, we don't have the asset or cash flow or financial education that supports us. So you have to overcome inflation. That's a silent income killer. So what that means is this: you are out there and 95% of your family is out there right now and they need help with extra money. Okay. This inflation is robbing them blind. The gas right now, regular, was $3.60, like when I did it today, right? And so that is an example of inflation. And see, then you get a raise. What's the raise? It's 2-3%, maybe. And that doesn't even cover the cost of milk and chicken that has risen, right? That's inflation on your pocket. Okay. So now what we need to do is Uncle Sam is out there taxing 98%, 95% of people that you know, and they're taxing them for 30% on their dollar. So that means that they give them 100% of their time, but they only get 65 or 70% of the pay. How does that work? But we become so accustomed to it, say, okay, here, no matter what, here. And then we hope, against hope, at the end of the year that we don't have to pay back. They took our money and we hope that we ain't got to pay them back. See, what we got to do is we got to get ourselves in a financial position not to have that happen. So you tell your family how to income shift, how to adjust that W-4 so that now you can get that 30% that Uncle Sam was taking out of your paycheck. And now they say, well, won't I have to pay back? Well, let's look at that, right? Reason that you pay back is because Uncle Sam says, hey, you have an average and we're going to take 30% because if you do less than that, we already have the money. You don't have to worry about it, right? So what we got to do is we got to find out, okay, what is that number that I have to be at? Right? What's that number? Why are you taking 30%? Maybe that number is 5%. I give you that. So we got to find that number, right? So first things first, we get all of our money back. And then they say, what you can do is write off your things because now you have a home-based business. It's not you trying to do a whole bunch of stuff. No, you have a home-based business because you're managing and tracking your cash flow. See, that's a home-based business called My Econ. That's what we do, guys. All of the other stuff, the houses, the investing, the butters, all that other stuff is because we transitioned into big businesses. The cleaning aspects, the nonprofits. See, that's transitioning after you get the income shifting. See, but majority of America, 95%, they just need you to help them to income shift. So now they're getting back this 30%. They're getting back an extra $100 a week in their paycheck. They're getting back an extra $200 a week. Who knows, right? But at least they're getting back $200-300 a month. That's enough to change what they've been doing. Okay, so that's let's imagine 3,300, excuse me, $300 a month. That's an extra $3,600 a year. Now, that can do a whole bunch of different things, right? So what that does is this: you can start to write off your, let's say, interest on your car. That's now a write-off. Mileage, gas, that's now a write-off. I know you say you heard these before, but we don't know them because we're not implementing them. We got to say, okay, where's the cash flow manager? Like we did taxes, a whole bunch of taxes this weekend, trying to get people into place and those type of things. And there was congratulations to Miss Shantae Lattimore. Your cash flow manager was impeccable, right? So see, that's how you have a predictability of success because you know that it's like putting money in the bank. When you log and say, okay, I spent $35 on eating out with Mark Howell, right? Now that is a write-off. So I log that into my cash flow manager. That's like putting dollars into my money, into my bank account, right? So somebody was telling me, I think it was JR and their friend. They had just done a retreat or a vacation, and they spent close to $3,000 doing it. And I said, hey, you got about a couple weeks, and you can write that off. I hadn't heard from them, but hopefully we'll get together and everything. But see, that's the type of thing that you miss. See, they say a penny saved is a what? Penny earned, right? So we got to get to a place to where we stop the money we're losing. So if you got an extra $1,000 that's going out, right? Now that's coming back, you can do a bunch of different things. Let's imagine let's say we got $12,000 a year that you add up. I know somebody said they had like $20,000-30,000 in write-offs. Can you imagine that? So if you look at that, $30,000 in write-offs, right? You're in generally a 30% tax bracket. Remember, they're taking 30% of your check, right? So if you're writing off $30,000, 30% of that $30,000 is actual cash that you're saving. You see what I'm saying? See, now we got better credit. Now we can pay down debt. We can pay down expenses. Now our interest rates are so high. I remember I bought a Cadillac. That Cadillac I think I paid 29% on that Cadillac. It's because my credit was horrible, right? And so the other things we got to worry about, that's what we're talking about, taxes, because we go into taxes, that just puts us into debt, right? And now why we can't make it, right? Why is it a struggle? Why is that a symbol of our culture? Why is struggle a symbol of our culture? See, we got to understand that it's something that others are doing differently than what we are doing. See, there is a talk on the tables about, okay, what are you going to do with your 401k? Okay, there's a talk on certain tables about, hey, I already have this type of insurance that's going to pass down from grandpa, and this is going to give you $1 million. It's going to start this business. You see what I'm saying? There's already that type of talk at the table. But generally, when we get together, we're playing, not it's nothing bad or anything, but we just don't have that type of talk. And why? It's not because of anything innately, right? It's not that. It's not anything inside. It's because 400 freaking years of being held back. 400 years, just a little while ago, it was Jim Crow, where you couldn't even drink at certain fountains and use certain bathrooms. It's still today where you're still finding us hanging from trees. So we got to get to a place. This is why I do what we do. It's not about the money, those type of things. See, we get that money, it's going to be reinvested into communities, right? See, we've been feeding the elderly and feeding the seniors and feeding the children for months now. And we if we get paid, then great, right? If we get reimbursed, then great, but we're still doing it, right? So that's where we got to get involved. We got to say, okay, hey, if it's going to be, it's going to be up to me. Then I got to say, okay, hey, where is it? I can no longer say, okay, hey, I got too much going on to succeed. You can't have too much going on to succeed. If you're too busy and you too broke, those two things they don't go together. You can't have all this busyness and have no time and have no money at the same time. You got to then say, okay, what I put my time into is not producing what I desire. So I dare you to say, okay, hey, I'm going to retire. All these people that are not benefiting me at this moment in time, right? That is not actually putting inside. I'm going to take this next 30, 60, 90 days, take you a year and say, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna read. I'm gonna understand. I got mentors that are surrounding me that want to pour into me. I got people that are everywhere that's done everything. See, in my econ of R.E.A.L University, there's nothing. I guarantee you, there's nothing that somebody else has not done. Okay. So that's what we wanted to do. And I got so far off topic here. And I try to get back to these particular um slides to show you the ins and outs. But that's not the heart of the matter. The heart of the matter is, let me slow down and say, what are my pros and cons? Let me make a balanced decision and say, okay, hey, doing what I am doing now, how is it going to look 30 days from now? How is it going to look 6 months from now? If I don't correct what I'm eating, if I don't correct what I'm doing with my money, if I don't correct what I'm doing with my time, if I don't correct who I'm around, right? And see, we hear these things that float around and memes and stuff like that, but it's true. You are only going to be the combination of the 5 people that you hang around most often. And if you're the type of person that says, hey, I just hang around myself, then generally that's where your growth is going to be, right? So we got to get to a place to say, okay, I'm ever learning, I'm ever growing. I've thought this way before, but hey, for right now, I'm going to take my mind off and I'm going to put the mind of Christ on, right? And that's just simply saying, have an understanding of how I was originally made. Okay. Somebody told you a lie, and somewhere you believed it. You know how I know? Because when you believe a certain thing, like a chair, when you sit on that chair, you don't think about it whether it's going to break, whether it's going to hold up, right? When you open a door to go into your home, you expect the other side to be your home. So you walk through, right? See, when we expect a certain result, then we do the actions without thinking about it. See, if you thought you were going to be the six-figure person, then you will be doing these actions in between. that other six-figure people do. You see what I'm saying? If you're trying to become a home builder, then you got to find somebody that knows how to build houses, right? See, that's the type of thing. If you're trying to do something, right? We have people that say, hey, I want to become the best me I can be. So they get a mentor or a professional coach or a trainer. I know that 80% of America cannot afford to pay somebody $500 a month or pay somebody $5,000 or $10,000 just to coach them in an area. So we say, hey, let's build it this way so you can do it and jump in, right? When you jump in this way, we can line things up. So let me explain it to you this way. My man's not here, but Mr. Nabawi, and also a good friend of his is Mr. Amin Ra, right? And so together, what we will be launching is something very simple. See, the individual had the home. We're going to access the particular equity in the home. And now we're able to what? Take the seed form. See, some people take the particular equity in the house as the fruit. The equity in the house is your seed. What I mean by they say it's the fruit is they just it just sits there, right? And then that fruit becomes moldy, and then they end up being 85, 90 years old or what have you, into their lives. And now this house is decrepit, and the children either end up getting it and they don't take care of it. So I'm saying, so you use your seed, which is that equity. So now we go and we're going to distribute and have two LLCs. These two LLCs are going to be separated by the equity, right? So the equity goes into the two LLCs. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be able to have what? The reserves, right, for two separate entities, which allows for it to produce quicker, right? Because generally there is what they call a debt to income challenge, which means that I'm not going to allow you to buy but so much because your income doesn't allow it. See, but when you buy with real estate with LLCs, then it's a different format. We look at asset-based lending. Don't want to go too far in that, but what we're going to do is we're going to change that equity amount into a forest, and then it's going to continually to produce over and over again. So now we have the two individuals here, and I'm sure they have maybe a couple of others that are close to them. And now we simply say, okay, hey, this is a group. This group here is a group economic division. And now they are going to learn how to duplicate what we do as a unit, as a micro or as a macro, right? So now they're able within this group to do wholesaling, to do for sale by owners, to do credit repair, all within this group. You see what I'm saying? Now, this group can do it passively and just go right into pointing to where the solutions are. Or they can create more income or cash flow by implementing the systems themselves, right? So when you do it that way, now you have a systematic way to grow. And see, they didn't have to reach out to anybody that showed like any disinterest, right? So there's no rejection in that particular model. See, then you can look at, let's say, Mark Howell, right? So let's say, for instance, we have various opportunities. Miss McMorris and myself has mainly her. She has found a lot of different areas that will produce cleaning opportunities, right? And now over here, we are also can produce brand management to where we advertise with a Facebook or Instagram or TikTok model, which then drives what? Business inquiries over to this cleaning area. And see, now we do what? We put Mark into a head position at that particular area because he has a lot of experience. This then pulls him away from the day-to-day operations of having to be hands-on to now he is a COO or Chief Operating Officer of this area. So now all he has to do is be a traffic control person. He just points because we have instituted the advertising. We have instituted the networks, resources, because we already been there. We just didn't have anybody to operate that area, right? So now we take the same way. We look at in the area of the nonprofit. Just like I think I said last time. See, that's another area. So now he's already dove and found a whole group of people that are needing feeding. Okay. And that's going to flower or grow into many different areas or places that need the feeding. Okay. And I'm going to come back to that. So now that puts him in a place of overseeing that particular area, like an area representative, right? See, when you understand where you can go, this is building a business of your purpose, right? With a surrounding of care and provision from others that are already doing what you want to do. And then we support you with the knowledge so you can get your personal credit together. You can get your business credit together, right? And you don't have to continually reinvest thousands of dollars to do so. See, outside of here, go there, pay this, pay that, pay this. We already have done it, recorded it, made it into courses that are easily digestible, and don't charge you for it. Just go back and get it. That's all you have to do. All you need to do is follow the plan, right? So we have Michael Young. See, I can do this all day long. And all you got to do is follow the steps. So Michael Young, right? So as we have a process, and he's a youngster, and he is in that mode of understanding the funnels. Not that us, older don't understand that, but it's different when you've been raised in that, right? So when you are familiar with the funnels, which is those things that are, say for instance, you plug somebody in with their email, and then they give you their email to get some type of free gift of some sort that you need, right? And so that email gets there, it drips on them over and over again with several other emails without you having to do anything. So now, as we have an individual that has a focus on creating funnels, understanding how they work, now we have all of us that need funnels, right? That need that design. So now we have Mike as an implementer within that function, and now we can do a co-op. So now we have, as individuals, we all have individual needs. So now we say, for instance, we have X amount of dollars that we have as an advertising campaign. Now we invest in advertising campaign with Michael Young. That allows him to do what? He can do all the things he needs to do and also hire others that may need to do other things like let's say the PR reports that may need to do any types of local marketing. You see what I'm saying? Whatever your particular thing is that you need. And see, we all have it in the house. You see what I'm saying? See, it costs us less, right? Because we're going in together. See now, let's say for instance, we have real estate professionals. We have Corey Turner. I know some of you also are also going into the area as well, so you can listen. As this positioning. So now, as a real estate professional, right? So now you have the Real University as your backup, as your credibility source. So now you find out where the areas there are that you need. Okay, that's where the applications are. That's where the descriptions are. Those types of things. Okay, because as a real estate investor, we need people that to buy houses or people that want to sell houses, right? And see, we don't need them to necessarily be into my econ or Real University. Remember, you are here to produce cash flow, right? Real University is your hub so that you can produce multiple streams of income without touching a bunch of that stuff. So you find the people that need those various things, right? So you got people, let's say for instance, we talk about the names list. Okay. So you do your names list, and you simply, if you are in cleaning, or you are and you're working with not child care, but the feeding program, right? So now your names list, you have 50 people listed on that names list, and you're just talking to them. Say, hey, I just recently found out that I don't want to do what I'm doing, right? I like doing this, whatever that is. And so I've been learning how to get my credit and my budget together, these types of things, right? And so with that, what I wanted to do is share that with you as well. So that way, this person may know something else about somebody else that needs the feeding program. This person may know somebody that needs a home. They may know somebody that needs a car. See, that's the thing you mentioned first and foremost. Remember, we talk about purpose and we listen for product need. So we talk about what we love, we doing what we love, and we talk about what we're learning, and then we're asking people about those things. And then when they talk about, start talking about those various referrals that they're giving us, because now that we haven't given them this thing that we're trying to sell them something, right? See, now we're talking, we got a list of individuals that are either, we said, hey, who do you know that wants to get into a home or needs to take advantage of the new house laws, the whatever you want to put in there, right? To attract them into those particular venues. Make sure, of course, it's true, because there are new laws out all the time about buying houses, right? The VA changes, the FHA changes, all those types of things, right? See, when you start doing that, you show people that you can help them get into a house, and you got down payment assistance programs, you got first time home buyer programs, you got investor programs, right? You can help them in anything. See, now those people, oh yeah, me. Here's my name, here's my number, right? Oh yeah, my cousin, right? And see, now that people on your list, see, these people are looking to hear from you. Now you can maneuver with these individuals. See, talk to them about what you're loving. See, if I'm doing butters and lotions and t-shirts, right? What I'm doing now is I'm facilitating a whole list of individuals to let them know that, hey, I'm getting ready to do this, this, and this. I already have these flavors. I'm excited about it. But by the way, I'm mentioning it to you because this training that I've been getting, I'm learning about credit. I'm learning about this. I'm learning about that, right? Is this something that you would like to do with your purpose? They say, yeah. Or was it something that you would like to, get, whatever it may be, right? They say whatever, right? Everybody wants something. Everybody wants something. And there's no reason why they should not get that as your friend, right? So you just simply point them over to that way. So as that real estate professional, now you have a list of people that are wanting to buy and sell houses, right? Who do you know that wants to get more, learn more about investing? Who do you know that thinks they got bad credit, think they can't get into a house? Who do you see what I'm saying? So either now you're going to get a house client at that moment, or you may get a client that has good credit, they need some funding, that's income source, or that person may need what? Credit repair in order to get into the house. You see what I'm saying? See, stay focused, not on what makes money. You can make money by doing your things. Everybody on here can be produce themselves into a cash flow millionaire position. That's only by getting yourself about $8,888 a month. When you have residual income, not just not just regular income, like a doctor, right? A doctor, because they make 120, $130,000 a year, that doesn't put them in millionaire status, right? But you as an individual, if you go through the next 2, 3 years and you start generating enough for $8,000, $888 a month, that is a millionaire status, because that's technically saying I have $1 million invested, and this $1 million is paying me $8,888 a month, right? See that you have basically $1 million in assets. That's why you are a millionaire. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't take much. All you have to do is be consistent, reduce your expenses, all those type of things we talk about. We ain't gonna go back into there, but you got to get out of your own way. You got to say, okay, where do I need to be? Have I done my cash flow manager? Right? Do I have an income shifting membership? Number one, right? Because if you're on here and you've been on previously, I told everybody to let go of their income shifting membership because it was a lot of individuals saying they couldn't afford. So that means that you wasn't doing the steps so that you could afford. So I want to make sure that you grabbed it because you could put it to use. So now when you re-sign up, like so many of us have, right? Some of you have, now you can put it to use. The cash flow manager, you understand, I have to log my write-offs. I have to log my internet bill. I have to log my cell phone bill. I have to log my mileage. I have to log these things because this is my money. When I log it, that means that's my money. And then if you don't have your cash flow strategist, which says that, hey, I want to have this amount of money by this time, and I got this amount of debt. If you have not done that, then how do you know where you're going? How do you know that you're making it? How do you know that you're even making the right steps every day? Right. And see, if you have any confusion, all you have to do is give somebody a call. Give me a call and say, hey, let's do an orientation like Corey. Or say, hey, what should I be doing here? So we're getting ready to do a one-on-one. The last time we did, I invited everybody out so that we can do a whole group and understanding that orientation. Now we need to do one-on-ones, right? What's going on with your things? Not so when you do that, now you have a way. See what most people want you to do when they want you to get on their Instagram or YouTube, you got to do what? You got to give them a consistent amount of money. You got to give them a large amount of money or something, right? So, or either they're not going to give you everything so that you can eventually give them money, right? So if you know these things, why not grab a membership and then go to work? It's only two ways that we can do things. As I let you guys go, we got sweat equity, which means like when I start things, I try to start things with my own effort, right? I put everything that I have, so therefore I can keep my overhead low, right? So, or either you have people that are your trumps who silver spoon in their mouth. So they use the money as leverage instead of the work, right? So either you have the money to put in or you have the work to put in. So you decide, where are you? If you were like me, and majority of us, 99%, of us are in the place that where we need to put the work in order to get the money there, right? So you have to say, I don't worry about the people that are surrounding me because probably, they probably don't want to do what you're doing. They probably don't want to get themselves in a better position. They probably don't want to be better, honestly. So what you have to do is still practice. So now these individuals that are surrounding you, now this is where you practice. If you're trying to open up a restaurant, this is where you practice. You reach out by using these steps to start your following. You start using these steps to start the people that can start understanding that you're going to be doing this, or this, right? Or you put $1,000 into advertising, right? Which one? Where do we want to land? Okay. So let's see, where are we out here? We have, let's say, gamers, right? So we have a lot of individuals that are young, right? And they wanted to get into the gamers or the content creation, or they want to do in some type of artistry or something to where they want to what is that? Some type of musical, thing that they want to do. All right, art, rap artists, musical artists, right? So within that, you say, okay, how do I get there? Majority of the times, they are getting the understanding about the industry, about the tactics and strategies from those particular mentors, but they don't get the financial education from the financial mentors. So you have the MC Hammers, you have the Tony Braxtons, you have the TLCs, right? Not that they're bad people or anything, but they were taken advantage of because they were not informed, right? So what we got to do is on that level, just show them, hey, what you can do in order to do this. Did you know you can self-fund? You can do what? You can, if you got a job, you can adjust your W-4 and start writing off your basic elements like your cell phone and stuff like that. So now you got some extra money. You can now take this extra money and invest it into your deals, whatever you're trying to do. Now, as you're doing that, now you can use this extra money too. If you have expenses, pay those down. Now you got a little bit more, right? So now you can get your credit together. Now you got good credit and you got cash flow to take care of the credit. So now you can go and get yourself an extra, what, $10,000, $15,000 from a line that we can help you to get. Now that you got this 10, 15, now you can reinvest that into going further into your purpose. Now, as you're doing that, you still stay with the Real University, keep stomach coming in, get your purpose together, because now we're going to show you what, how to do your business credit. So now you got all these things working and you plug in 2 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 8 at night, whatever. And you get the trainings, you get in the recordings and you start getting your business credit together. Now you use your business credit to propel everything even further. You can pay down personal credit, all those type of things. You can separate yourself so that your Social Security is no longer in effect. Now you're self-funded. Done, right? And if you can't tell them that, guess what you do? Hey, I just got started. Come on Thursday. Right? That's all you got to do, right? Now you can reinvest. Right? If you're gaming those type of things, you can actually pay those individuals to promote you, to shout you out, right? To do those things to make you heard, right? See, you can use the leverage. That's why we say personal credit, business credit, leveraging credit, right? So when you use these things, go to your websites and see what you got. Just take a few seconds. We will learn, like me. I'll be in front of Netflix trying to, calm down for the day or the night, right? And I'll flip through Netflix about 30, 40 minutes, trying to find something to watch, right? And so if we can do something like that, I know I'm not the only one, then we can go through the categories in the back office and say, okay, what is that there? Okay, that's cash flow management. Okay, what is that there? Oh, that's my presentations. Oh, that's the area where the cash flow manager is. Oh, this is the area that does this, right? See, when you do that, now you're prepared. Now you change your attraction point. See, right now your attraction point is only made up of the things that you've experienced. So now you think that your knowledge and your experience is everything. And when you don't introduce more knowledge and experience, then that's what becomes a stagnant piece of water, right? You ever heard of the Dead Sea, right? That's where the water does not leave or come in. So it is dead. It is just dead. It has so much salt in there that is poisonous, right? And so that's what happens when there's no more flow. That's why they call it what? Currency, cash flow, income, right? Expenses, out, go, right? You put the money in the bank, right? See, it's all about the flow. If you don't have your flow in place, then you can't produce. So you got to take new education, new information, apply it, which means we sow it, right? And then we will reap it. As simple as that. Take notes. If you didn't take notes, right? Make a note in your note section and say, okay, next time I get on this call, I'm going to be taking notes, right? If you're not a good note taker, maybe you say, Mike, you talk too fast, talk too slow, talk too country, whatever it may be, then record it, right? Record it on your phone, right? Or whatever it may be that you need to. You can record the audio by just simply hit the memo button on your phone, right? And so there's so many different things that you can do. We have to go back. We have to say, just like it was when we were in school, we hated it. I hated it, right? Even though I did well, I hated school. I hated the way that they did it. I hated everything about it. But what we did get was how to sit still for that particular piece of time. Okay. So that's what we got to do now. Just get yourself to say, okay, hey, where am I? And if you want to find out, just stop. Okay. Stop. Make an appointment and say, I want to know where I am. Okay. Corey, we're still looking good for next week. I haven't found anything out differently. We had a little challenge, like I told you, with the title work and all those type of things, but everything still should be good. Our appraisal should be there. All those stuff should be knocking out. So that should be good. Those people that you are looking for a home or want to buy or sell their home, always remember, guys, if you've heard of an MBA, or a PhD or a master's, right? That's when you go a little further. Okay. So no matter what you're doing, you always use the 5 P's. Okay. This is in anything that we're doing. And to break that down, just simply say, I don't know. I just got started, but I can get that information for you. That's it, guys. You know what I'm saying? If you do that, then I can help them onto the next step, or the leader that you point them to, because we have several leaders that can help out in those different areas. They can then help you. And then when you do that, you can listen, right, to us as we help that person. Then you learn, right? So that's how you do that thing. Right. So jump in and become the best you can be. I appreciate you. You show up every time. Continue to do so. Who else out there? I said, Shantae, you did awesome over there. Uh, Mr. Watts, you're definitely John Watts. We got several things that we are doing out there. I wanted to catch up. If you do have a second or two, the nonprofit, the Feeding the Children's, Feeding the Elderly, right? What to do to participate with that? Okay. Um, when you reach out, we are serving after school, and I don't know where everybody is, but this is South Carolina right now. If you are in a different state, that's fine. You still do the different things. We just have to give a little longer distance before we start feeding that particular area. Okay, so if it's North Carolina or Georgia or California, wherever it may be, if we secure somebody that may want to be there, we may have to say, hey, we're going to start in the fall, right? Because summer is coming up or whatever, right? So, but we'll still want to get them on the program. So what you're doing is we can feed after school programs. That's all it has to be. That's how simple it is. And I say that because generally in South Carolina, that it has to be in a poverty kind of area, but generally all around South Carolina, pretty much all of our schools are in a poverty pretty much area, right? And they call them District 1, or what is it, Title 1 schools, okay? And when we are it's after school, and it can be a football practice that's after school, right? It can be boys and girls clubs. All we got to do, you just simply call them and you say, I'm calling because we have free food. That's it. And they're going to say, how, what, well, we have a program that we can offer your children, students, or whatever, free food, right? And it's sponsored by the USDA. If you like more information, that's why I'm calling. We can send you an email, right? That's it. And if you know the people, then that's even better. Then that way you can get the names and numbers, and then we can follow up with the actual person if you know them. But if not, it's not that one place that we're trying to get. We're just trying to let them know, right? Call 10, 12 places, right? Let them know that we are serving, free food. If it's a seniors area, then the seniors area has to be not individual seniors. They have to be like a seniors place, like an apartment complex, to where they have a location where they can feed, or a senior daycare center where they come during the day to have functions and stuff, right? So it has to be something to where they're congregating. Okay. And we are serving, we're helping, right? And if you have any challenges, don't worry about it. Just say, okay, hey, great. What we can do is get you that information, get that question answered, because they want it, right? If they don't already have something like that, they desire that. Okay. Now, as you're setting that up, it is our goal then to say, okay, hey, what do you have access to in this area? Okay. So if it's somebody like what Marcus started, has already got 30 or plus, right? So now we want to get up there and say, okay, hey, how can we institute this to where we can make it grow within this maybe an hour radius of this area. Okay, so now we want to become to where Mark has a sponsorship area to where there is a location where there's a kitchen and everything to where it can be functional. And then out of that kitchen will be driven to those different areas that we've secured around that area. Okay. Now, there's not a person that is looking to do that. It's not looking to be a part of what we're doing. They just want to refer that to us. That's fine too. Then we will have an agreement with them and paper, documents and stuff to say, okay, hey, for this particular referral, this is what will be done for that particular referral, right? So if you have individuals out there, let us talk to them and we'll show them what to do. What I want you to always remember, no matter what goes on, never get yourself in a position to where you think you got to explain, where you got to do a presentation, where you got to, just do anything. All you got to do is say, hey, I'm just beginning, or I'm just calling to get you more information. That's all we ever want to do. Get them more information. Somebody wants to sell a house, somebody wants to buy a house. Great. I may be able to help you. If you're serious, I can get you some more information. That's it. Name, number, address, not address, but email address. Okay. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go in there further, but I did want to describe, the children's program, the other programs. We also, which I thought Pastor Sims would have been on, but we are also having where we're getting together with charity events. So if you guys will I want to. What we do is we serve places like Clemson University. We do the Greenville Drive. We will also be listed on the downtown Greenville Spring Fest or Jazz Fest or something like that. So we are in those places. And when we go there, we have to where, say, for instance, we can work with a certain place for about 4 hours, right? If we get 10 people to work with us, then we're able to keep the particular the tips that have come, or we're able to keep a certain percentage of their hourly cash flow they get coming in. And see that then is goes into our nonprofit. You see what I'm saying? So when you work like that, if you want a nonprofit, then we can show you how to facilitate those types of things underneath our umbrella as well. And then as you are working with us and being that volunteer with us, then you start to understand how that works. Okay. And so we saw all kinds of different things that we can do if we just stick together. Then everybody can grow individually as large as they want. Is whatever this purpose, whatever this flower, whatever this growth, whatever caterpillar to a butterfly, you can do that. But what I'm trying to do now is what we're trying to do now is to say, okay, hey, let's grow together, and then let's help one another in their particular areas of function, right? So that now everybody can grow accordingly. So go back, look in your emails, whatever, see what you have, put it into a certain folder. Okay. Now you got all your emails from Real University. You put it into a folder. All your emails from my econ, put it into a folder, right? You got a notebook that's set aside for nothing but notes for, the different things that you're learning. Okay. So that you can go back and look and see, right? Because nobody is going to sow into your field nothing but weeds. See, majority, 99% of people are only going to sow weeds into your field. So what you got to do is you got to be in a position to say that your field is a good ground. And you got to understand to push it away, whatever this is. Is it TV time? Is it people that are negative? Is it too much things that are zapping your energy? Whatever that is, and it's time to revamp. And then you say, okay, hey, let me make an appointment. Let me get myself in place, because now I can see where I'm going. Now I just need to know how to put these steps in place. Mr. R.E.A.L sent me a nice text about the next steps that he'd like to, follow through with. Okay. So this is what I do. This is what I love to do. I've been a pastor, or was a pastor for 12 years, right? That was 20 years ago. But so this is my thing. But now I know that my thing is marketplace ministry. So I don't want to be involved into the high ticket things out there to where you got to go through this particular thing and then you pay all this type of money. But I do want you to be able to succeed. And to be able to succeed, it does take money. But it doesn't take money to get to the money. All you got to do is put the effort in. Get your personal credit together. Get your cash flow management together where your debts are good so that the bank looks in and say, okay, hey, this person has a plan. See, that's what that cash flow manager does, is able to print out a proper cash flow plan, a proper profit and loss statement, all right? A proper way so that people can see that you're about your business. The cash flow strategist is a mini business plan. It shows them, okay, I know what I'm doing with my money over the next 10 years, right? So when you get that stuff together, then the stuff that you're working with, that you're bothered by, it won't hamper you. If you just adjust your income, if you just adjust that W-4, if you're on a 1099, right, all you got to do is keep track of your write-offs. If you just keep track of your write-offs, that would change your life, right? Don't despise the small things. Just do the small things. Start writing off, start taking notes, start changing 1% of a day. Start reading 10 pages of a good book. Start listening to 20 minutes of audio, right? Start getting back. And that's why we do the real university. This is where you come and you can see, hey, I can learn and be something here. I don't have to just learn how to sell these vitamins. I don't have to learn how to sell this soap. I don't have to learn how to sell this makeup. I can learn how to be the real me. Okay. So guys, I appreciate it. And I appreciate you sticking in to where I get on that, because I want to call out each and every individual so I can show you how to get into place. Miss Avant, I don't know much about the things that you have going on, but you have a great leader in Miss McMorris, and I know that she will align, the things that you need with the proper structure of R.E.A.L University and everything like that. But I know that you are loyal and that you show up each and every time, right? So, Mr. Dabawi, let's make sure that we get in touch, because I know you're on the road and those type of things, so that we can get your truck retired, get that truck leased out as well, and get the equity going on the properties. Mr. Turner, you know how we rocking and rolling. And definitely, I know Mark, that's what I was talking to on a consistent basis. That was Mark I was talking to about the restaurant stuff, Mark and so that's what I was talking to about the restaurant stuff. See, so as you start getting those things in together, okay, then make yourself accountable. That's the only way that I was able to do it, right? That's the only way, because there's nobody coming to save you. There's nobody coming, right? So we got to say, okay, hey, we got to be the particular person that saves our family. We got to do the things necessary. I was about to sit back and talk to you guys, but I ain't gonna do that. But there's nothing that you can't do. Nothing. Mark, make sure you just get an orientation. Me, you, and Miss McMorris. We can do a Zoom call and just walk you down the steps and the stuff like that. It's good to see you doing well, man. I'm loving that, most definitely. Mr. R.E.A.L, make sure me, you, Mr. Nabawi get together and rock that. Of course, Mr. Young, I know we always talk just daily. Trevor, you and Ms. McMorris, let's do an iron out of their orientation. And guys, when you do this and you just say, one day I start, the credit gets better, the income gets better, right? Everything just start changing. I'm not saying that it doesn't dip, but you never dip as far, right? So you go, whoop. See what I'm saying? You still gonna be dips, because life is life, right? But you don't have to dip as far. And even when you do dip as far, you can come back up, even faster, because you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, and you have the family. All right. So you guys, y'all be beautiful. See you on the other side of purpose, because this side was too easy. It's too easy. Anybody can lay on the bed, right? Anybody can work, right? But who can leave an example or an inheritance for their children's children, right? Y'all be good. That's why